Congratulations, Mark. I guess, just taking into account the opposition and the circumstances, what are the things that you can really take from this series and from the way that the guys performed?
Yeah, I think it's good to get a win, first of all, albeit in our home conditions. I think from a batting perspective, it was nice to see quite a few of our batters in the runs, spent a bit of time in the middle. So that would have given them a lot of confidence going into big series in Pakistan, also Australia. So they can build on that momentum. Then with our bowling, I mean, if you look at our bowling attack, there's a handful of games between the guys, so we understand that there's a lot of inexperience there, especially with our KG there. And I think they learned a lot of lessons, and they learned them fairly quickly as well. It's a sort of a group of individuals that is growing, and as long as we see growth, then we're happy. If you look at the first session that they had at Supersport Park, and then to come back in the second innings at Supersport Park, we bowled well in the first innings. Yeah, maybe let it slip a bit yesterday, but I think the way that they responded to a few, wouldn't say harsh words, but words that were needed this morning was good. So I think it's something to grow on. A couple of individual performances which we're very happy about as well. So yeah, I think we'll take this momentum and take a bit of confidence on understanding that there's quite a few different changes we have to make with regards to techniques when we go through to Pakistan. But we'll certainly take the confidence into Pakistan.
Thanks, Tianis, and then Ken.
Hi, Mark. Just the other side of the coin. What are the key work-ons that you've identified from this series?
Yeah, look, I think technically our batters, we can always keep working. As I said, going into different conditions, I thought the techniques were quite solid on tough wickets. If bowlers got the ball in the right areas on these 2 wickets that we played on, it's always going to be tough. I thought technically we were fairly good. And then, yeah, I mean, the bowling, as I said, we've got a young group, so we need to just keep things nice and simple and almost get our own DNA that we need to enforce onto the bowlers in order for us to get the best out of all different conditions that we play on. So by no means will be a finished product. There's still a lot of hard work to be done, and the guys understand that as well. We're going to make mistakes along the way, and as long as we keep learning from those mistakes and hope we don't repeat them, then we're heading in the right direction.
Ken?
Hi, Mark. Well done. I'm pretty sure you talk a lot about partnerships in the change room, and this test probably basically won thanks to one partnership, and then Centurion, there were quite a few good partnerships, weren't there? So that must be pleasing.
Yeah, look, not only in batting but in bowling as well. I mean, that's the key to building a bit of pressure on teams is building partnerships. As you say, there was one very good partnership. Yeah, the guys actually coming out from batting, and that it is important to keep the intensity nice and high and keep a positive sort of mindset. They always felt that there was one ball that probably had your name on it. And if we got into a situation where we created some sort of partnership, we really had to drive that advantage home, and I think that's exactly what happened. The collapse wasn't ideal. A couple of good balls in between there, maybe 1 or 2 lazy shots, but I do think that they got the ball to swing a lot yesterday, and swing with a bit of bounce is always going to be very friendly to bowlers, with a little bit of nip as well. So I think the conditions over the last 2 test matches are quite difficult to bat in. If you're a bowler and you got the ball in the right area, there's always something there for you. I think Sri Lanka really bowled well yesterday and created some sort of pressure on us, and that's why we had that collapse.
Hi.
Hi, Mark. Congratulations on the win. Just in terms of Dean, I mean, his value obviously isn't in doubt, within the Proteas setup, but just given where he bats, and how difficult it is sometimes to bat in South African conditions, just a word on him, finishing the series as the leading run scorer, and just his enduring value to the side as an opener particularly.
Yeah, look, I mean, Dean's been, if you have a look at the conditions that our batters have had to have faced over the last period, there have been some tough conditions to bat in, and especially as an opening batter with a new ball. So I'm very happy that Dean's in good form as he is now. Technically, he's looking very good. He's He's been nice and aggressive as well. It's something that we have spoken about as a team. And there's nothing better than when a senior player takes those words on board and runs with it, especially at the top of the order. So he'll feel very good about where he is at the moment. Technically, I'm very happy with where he is. Nice for him to get some good runs and also runs in tough conditions. So yeah, very happy for him.
Firdous, so the last three questions are Firdous, Stuart, and then Telford.
Mark, Luther Sepamla came back really well after quite a tough 12 overs. Could you maybe just talk a little bit about how he developed over the 2 tests and just how you saw him progress as the games went on?
It's difficult to judge Luther on his first day of Test cricket. I think there were so many butterflies and nerves, and certain people handle those sort of feelings in different ways. Luther's very young, so you wouldn't have felt the intensity of those sort of butterflies, and probably never ever felt like that, especially because Test cricket means such a lot to him. So that's a good sign for me when a guy's so passionate about playing for his country, especially for test match. It's the signs there straight away that it means a lot to him. Throughout the time, he's also very young, and he's got to work on his lines and his lengths. But he's one of the pluses for me. He's from where he started to where he is now. I think he's learned a hell of a lot in the last 2 games. Yesterday, I thought, although he went for a few runs, I thought his lines were a lot better. Maybe just got guilty of searching for wickets, trying to swing the ball too much rather than hit the deck hard. But I thought his lines were a lot better, especially to left-handers. And coming today and clean the tail up, which he's done very well. I mean, it's one thing saying cleaning the tail up. The areas that he's hitting was always asking questions. There's some decent pace as well. So he's certainly one that has learned a hell of a lot over these 2 test matches, which can only stand us in good stead for the future.
Stuart.
Hi, Mark. What did the players make of the level of intensity of these test matches, given that there was no crowds around, and also just the experience of bubble life? How have you felt they've adjusted to working, training, playing in biosecure environments?
I think the level of intensity, it is always tough. I mean, especially if you're playing at home, you expect a bit of crowd reaction from the outside. So it's just something that we have to deal with. There were times yesterday where I thought the intensity dropped a bit. And we had to have a good chat last night to make sure that, we come, and although there's no crowds to lift you up, you've got to try and lift yourself up as a team and keep your standards nice and high. So I was very, very happy with the way the guys responded after last night's chat. With regards to bubble life, you go to the subcontinent quite a bit and you don't leave your hotel a lot there as well. So we are sort of used to it. We're staying in a fantastic place in Irene. They really looked after us. It almost feels like it's a little bit of a family away from home feeling. So that's another thing. We'll keep learning from bubble life and what we have to do to try and make life a lot easier for players. The longer it gets in these bubbles, I think the more mental strength players have to have. It can be challenging to be away from family, especially at this time of the year. But yeah, we'll keep trying to improve. We'll have communication with the players to see how we can improve, and we'll try to do this as best we can.
And finally, Telford.
How's it, Mark? Well done. You must be, Vian Mulder announced himself in some style in the series. Looks like he's been playing 20 tests, never mind 2. Is that how he was? How do you assess his confidence and the way he played in this series?
Vian was fantastic for us, and I think sometimes we look at other players, but Vian was always there to make the breakthroughs. It's great to have all-rounder options in any team. I think it's something that South African cricket have always been really strong at is giving opportunities to all-rounders. We spoke about against England, albeit in white ball cricket, we struggled for all-rounders and we saw the gaps that left in the team. So to have a guy like Vian, who's very young, but the talent is obviously there. He's been away from the game for quite some time, so he's very hungry to go out there and perform. Let's hope he stays on the park. Our medical team will try to keep him on the park for as long as we can. He's someone that he's so keen to learn, so I think his attitude is great as well. So I see a big future with Vian, and hopefully, having a look at the way that he's performed now, he can continue to do that for South Africa, because they're in a very strong position, especially in that position at number 7. We haven't really seen his batting his batting side as well. And I think he's a very good batter, probably a batter that effectively could bat in the top 6. But he's young and he'll learn, and we'll keep challenging him in that regard.
Thanks very much, everyone.